Season 12 has brought us some much needed and long awaited crypto changes. Whether you're a crypto fan who's been waiting patiently for these changes, or you're looking to try out the legend now that there's some buzz around him again, this is the video for you. What's up guys, my name is Valued, and today we've got an updated guide to crypto taking into account the changes and new possibilities for the legend. By the end of this video, you're going to be well on your way to mastering the Surveillance Expert. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Crypto has been in the game since Season 3, so rather than starting off with his entire kit, let's go over the changes that he received. Crypto has always been about getting high value out of his drone, and the changes in the season have made it much easier to do so. Instead of having to always pilot his drone to get any distance, Crypto now can throw his drone forward 25 meters when he activates it. Crypto no longer immediately enters the drone when he deploys it, but you can still hold the deploy button to enter it immediately if you want to. If he throws his drone into an obstacle, the drone will actually automatically turn around, pointing its scan vision away from the wall without you having to enter the drone and reposition it yourself. These are huge changes that really add a lot of speed to Crypto's actions, something that he's always been lacking. This removes the amount of time you have to spend piloting the drone in a lot of situations, and we'll go more in depth with how you can actually use this to your advantage shortly. On top of this, his drone now has 240-degree radius of vision, a big step up when compared to the 160 degrees it previously had. This means spotting enemies out with your drone scan is much easier and requires a lot less precision out of your drone placement. On top of all this, they also made some UI adjustments while you're flying your drone, allowing you to receive a lot more info. Before, his drone limited the game info you could gather in drone mode. But after the changes, you now have all the game state info while piloting the drone, like ring timer and the kill feed. Sadly, to offset the buffs a little bit, the drone's HP was lowered to 50 from 60, making it a tiny bit squishier. Overall, these are some big buffs for the Surveillance Expert, bringing him much needed mobility along with some great quality of life fixes for the legend. Now, let's talk about how these actually impact how you play Crypto. The first thing to keep in mind is that Crypto's primary job is still information gathering and setting up well-coordinated EMPs with his team. These changes simply allow him to do that job much easier and better, with more mobility and flexibility than he had before. This being said, he still requires a lot more setup and teamwork than a legend like Bloodhound, but the payoff can be massive if you have good coordination on your team. These attributes make him much better in an organized setting where comms can be used to keep everybody on the same page, utilizing Crypto's kit as effectively as possible. This being said, these changes have opened the door to solo queue Crypto a lot more. While he will definitely bring more value to an organized or competitive team, the added mobility in his kit means you can definitely pull him off without feeling like you're just going to get killed anytime you want to activate your drone. Whether you have a group or not, the goals of Crypto in-game remain the same, even if the method to pull them off differ just a tiny bit. Rather than walking through every scenario, let's go over some tips for the legend and really hone in on how to make the most out of his refined kit. But before we hop into those tips, if you're looking to improve your game in any way, you definitely should get a coaching session. Whether you're mastering the new Crypto or need help winning fights, the top level coaches at ProGuides.com are trained to find your weaknesses and dial into your strengths. They'll take the time to help you in a customized way, perfectly designed to help you improve. So if you find yourself not improving, take the next step and get a coaching session at ProGuides.com in the top link in the description below. One of the biggest tips I can give surrounding Crypto's new throw mechanic is to look to use the distance to get good lines of sight. If you're looking to scan an area in front of you, make sure you're tossing the drone a bit upwards so that it rises above obstacles. You'll need to get line of sight on enemies if you want to scan them, and this extra distance helps you do just that. This extra height will also likely be above most enemies' vision, and can allow the drone to survive a bit longer, keeping that scan going. With the additional sight that the drone now has, it does a much better job of actually scanning enemies that might be under the drone. So, use this extra vision to your advantage, and get some height to your tosses whenever you're looking to scan opponents. One of my favorite changes to Crypto this season is the ability to turn your drone around on an obstacle without having to pilot the drone. Like I mentioned before, the drone will turn itself around if you toss it into a wall or other geography, and this gives Crypto some really nice ways to get value out of his drone in a pinch. Tossing it up into a corner of a building before you get pushed, or even using it to watch a flank for you, are some great ways to use the drone in a less traditional manner. I really like tossing this up quickly when I'm kiting out an enemy. I can often find an angle that the enemy will pass while they're chasing me, and this can give me just a bit more info to help me play the fight out better. With the lack of mobility in Crypto's kit, this on-the-fly info can be a great way to outplay an aggressive opponent. Now, if you guys actually play Crypto, you know one thing. Crypto is well known for his plays with the EMP, but with the ability to toss his drone, these plays just got a whole new level of interesting. While the traditional method of flying the drone to enemies and activating the EMP still works fine, the toss has opened up some other really cool avenues. This little toss allows Crypto to look for some aggressive EMP plays without needing to pilot his drone at all. Simply toss out the drone towards the team you're looking to push and activate your EMP. This lets him push enemies while also positioning his drone, which has been one of his biggest weaknesses since his release. Keep in mind, his EMP still does hurt you, so if you push aggressively with it, you're gonna get hit yourself most of the time. A neat trick with this is to throw the drone max distance, activate the EMP, and then back up about 5 meters. If you're 30 meters away from your drone, you won't get hit by the EMP, giving you an option to still hit those fast ults without having to lose your own health as a sacrifice. Now, keep in mind, this will slow you down a bit, but if you get the timing down, you'll be way faster than you ever could have been in the past. One more thing, guys, remember that Crypto's EMP destroys basically any enemy trap and defense. It deals 100 damage to these equipment, and with most abilities having under 100 HP, Crypto can wreak havoc on heavy setup focused teams. Oftentimes, using an EMP just to destroy a bunch of defenses or charge up your Evo shield isn't a bad idea. And these budget ultimates over the course of the game can add up to a lot of value. Don't get stuck on always trying to hit 3-man EMPs. Oftentimes, it's better to get some use than it is to hold on to it for that one perfect EMP. If you're having a hard time getting the distance of the drone throw down, make sure you're using your reticle as a guide. Crypto has a circle around his crosshair that will light up green if you're aiming at a wall within 25 meters. This means you can use this as a rough guide for how far your drone's throw distance really is. This is a great way to get used to pulling off the EMP plays that I just talked about. It's also great for its actual purpose, which is telling you when you will reach a wall with your throw. If you're looking to scan in a certain direction, make sure you're not hitting an obstacle on the toss, as it will turn your drone around to face you. Also guys, don't forget to constantly use Crypto's recall function. Rather than piloting your drone back to yourself, if you're looking to move it along with you or pivot to using it in a different way, just recall it. It's a quick way to get your drone back into your hands, and this habit will ensure you always have your drone nearby when you need it. This is especially important now that you can throw the drone, as you want to have that drone throw available to you as often as possible. And by keeping up with your drone recalls, you're able to do just that. Another thing about Crypto's drone is it can gain a ton of info about nearby enemies from looking at champion banners on the map. While in drone mode, this will tell you how many enemies are within 200 meters of the drone. This could be a great way to scout an area around you, as it can be pretty easy to guess where enemies will be based on this massive distance. Now, it's not the same as literally scanning someone, but it can make sure you're on your guard and give you a sense of how many teams are nearby. On top of this, the drone can also grab death banners, as well as revive teammates and hit survey beacons instantly. The drone doesn't have the delay when performing these actions, and it lets you pull these things off without putting yourself into harm's way. This makes you really valuable for organized teams, but also in a solo environment. The ability to easily revive your teammates if you're the last alive can seriously save your ranked games, and the flexibility of the drone in this way cannot be overlooked. Alrighty guys, and that's gonna do it for the brand new updated Crypto guide. The changes this legend received are some the community has been asking for a very long time. We can safely say that he's in a very powerful spot, and his pick rate is also climbing slowly, which is great to see for all of the Crypto lovers. Let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking of Crypto's rework. Would you like to have seen more changes? As always guys, it's been your boy Valued, and I'll see you guys in the next one.